I definitely want Aaron to introduce this because this build is something that's really dear to his heart. He loves this thing.
Yeah, as much as I love this truck, Emily loves Roxy, and they could not be more different vehicles. I'm a geek completely. I love this kind of stuff. We built this 5 years ago with a good friend of ours, and I drove it. Man, what did we do? Put probably 40,000 miles on this silly thing. It's a little diesel Chevy Luv, 1974 model, and it's actually got a 4-cylinder turbo diesel. A lot of people will remember that they made Chevy Luvs with diesels, and they always think that this is stock, but it's not, because in this year model, the first body style, the one that I like, never came with a diesel, so I had to make one. This is a 1.8 liter Isuzu diesel, like you would have found in like the Chevy Chevette or the Isuzu iMark diesel from the mid-80s. It makes a whopping 58 horsepower. That's with the boost. Actually, we put a turbo on here that's way too big, so there's not much boost, about 3 pounds, and we actually need to go back and fix that. Right now, the status of the truck is we were driving it this last summer with the air conditioner on, and it overheated on me, and it kind of pissed me off. It blew a hose, and I just shelved it. I parked it. We had so many other things going on. We were getting ready for power tour and all this crazy stuff, and so it's been sitting in the yard. The status of it now, the glow plugs don't work, and this engine will not start without glow plugs unless you use starting fluid, and I don't like using starting fluid on an engine that I intend to keep and drive. It's, you know, if you use too much, it can be dangerous. It's always leaked oil from the blow-by area, which all diesels are going to have blow-by, but my gasket must be bad because the valve cover just gets nasty. The clutch was giving me problems. I was having a hard time getting in reverse, and my tires started getting worn out. There were a lot of reasons that I just kind of pushed it to the side. So we probably ought to replace the hoses, because we've got, this is really funny, we'll show you a shot. I've got a heater hose here that blew. We were on the road and we didn't have any way to fix it, so we took one of the light bulbs out and stuck it in a little piece of hose and tightened it.
With a hose clamp.
Pretty bad.
It's pretty roadkill.
It gets somewhere between 35 and 40 miles per gallon, depending on if you're on the highway or not. And it's a lot of fun. It's actually one of my most favorite vehicles to drive. I just love it.
It's a really cute little truck. So we gotta get her back on the road. She deserves it.
Heck yeah. We'll go burn some oil. It doesn't burn rubber, so. But anyways, let's get to work.
Yes.
Whole thing, guys. Weather stripping, full filters, an extra starter in there. That's what I was looking for.
Slave installed, and now it's time to bleed the system.
The work going pretty good?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's looking like it's moving a little bit. We're gonna have to wait until we get this thing running to know if it's actually disengaging. But it's moving a lot.
Yeah,
The metal feels good.
Metal feels pretty good.
Cool. We're good.
That's all we can get done for today. We've ordered glow plugs. Once we get this thing running right, we'll be able to see if the clutch actually works and any other tweaks we need to make. Next clip will be us back in the shop with fresh parts to install on the Luv and hopefully get her back on the road. Take her to the car wash and actually clean her.
Too bad the car wash didn't have a lift. It needs it all under it.
We're back to work on the Luv more. Aaron's getting ready to throw the battery in. Then he's going to test the glow plugs, which I have actually never seen before. So I'm looking forward to this process.
It's tight. That's broken.
Yeah, look at that. It goes split in it.
Put some plastic piece on that.
There it is.
Don't do this. Fix your battery cable. Power probe.
Your favorite tool.
It really is. I don't know how to do wiring, so what's so great about this is I can send ground or I can send power, and it's got a circuit breaker. So when I send it to the wrong thing, it pops that circuit breaker instead of blowing the whole system up, which I often do. So on that side of the solenoid, we have 12.9 volts. That is nothing as I would expect it to be. The principle of how a glow plug works is it basically grounds to the engine, and with that ground, when you send 12 volts to it, it creates a short effectively, which generates heat. That heats the cylinders up. I should be seeing a ground right here because this wire on the other side of the solenoid is going straight to the glow plugs. And the fact that there's nothing there makes me think that I have an open circuit. Obviously those are burned out, but we're gonna go on through the process because I want you guys to know how to do this. If you're messing with like an old IDI Ford or anything that's got glow plugs in it, it's a real easy way to check it. So we're gonna do that real quick. So pull my switch for me, please. What I'm doing is I've got a solenoid. It's an old Ford solenoid like would be for the starter. And I just have 12 volts to one side of it. And then the other side, I have 12 volts going straight to my glow plug. And I time it. I just basically count off like 8 seconds, push it back in, and then I start it. Didn't feel like wiring up a timer on this. And there's not a lot of people driving it. He's on. Okay, we're getting 12 volts through the solenoid, so we know that that's working correctly. Then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to check, and in fact we have 12 volts on the glow plugs themselves. You can go ahead and turn it off. We're going to unhook the glow plugs, and then we're going to probe them. If that doesn't indicate a ground whenever I touch the top of it with it unhooked, it's a bad glow plug. Now that I've diagnosed it, it's time for you to fix it. We're going to take this bolt out. All these little cap screws here, you see that slash on the far end?
Yeah.
That's for a screwdriver, flathead.
Oh, how cool is that?
Take this one off first, and then take all 4 of those off. That whole thing will come off, and then we'll just take those glow plugs out.
Dropped my washer, my nut. It's the one that's past the blow-off valve. It's hard to get to. Oh, got it. Last one. Now that we have the glow plugs out, I'm gonna show you, Aaron and I were just playing with this. You can test your glow plugs once they're out. Now, Aaron did this, I thought was way cool. This is one of the features of PowerProbe. FYI, PowerProbe is not a sponsor. We have a lot of companies that we work with, but PowerProbe isn't one of them. We just really love this, and we always try to communicate to you guys when we love something, and this is one of the things we love. Okay, so here we have a light bulb. This clamp provides ground, and you put this on one side of the light bulb, which you ground, and then the other side gives power, lights the light bulb up. How cool is that? So this feature with this power probe is really, really awesome because you can test things like glow plugs and see if they're good. Okay, so we have our ground hooked up, and FYI, we know that these are bad. We tested them in the engine, but we thought it would be cool to show you guys how this thing works and how cool it is, because say you have some glow plugs on the shelf and you want to test to see if they're good or not before putting them in an engine, you can test them on the bench with one of these. So it's pretty cool. To show you that this one is dead, it does not light up. So let me show you the good one. How cool is that? Isn't that awesome? Pretty neat. Okay, let's resume the job. Time to put these glow plugs in. Getting it done, babe. Hey, I think that's done. Come check it out.
That's not going to blow up. Or that.
I thought you were going to say, that's not going to work. And I was going to be like, I put it back the same way.
No.
Looks good.
It's going to be good. Emily's got everything fixed. She put it back together. I checked it. Bueno. See if it'll start.
Okay.
Clutch in. Neutral. Yeah, you can hear it lug down.
That's it. You ready?
Alright, try it. Crank it back up. See if it'll go in gear easy. Cool. Goes in gear. So apparently that slave cylinders was a problem.
The shop's all smoky. Yay!
What
no,
else
it
do we
went
need?
in gear really easily.
Just flipped right in and out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dang, babe.
But I mean, as far as driving it, I think it's done.
I do too.
Yeah.
Aw, the little love's gonna be back in action. What you got? What's in your mouth? Come on. What do you have? It's a cap from something. Well, I actually sat down to shoot something, so make yourself comfortable. You guys, we have a new tool, and I'm really excited to use it. It's called a quick trick alignment tool, and we're pretty stoked to learn how to use this thing. We've only done silly at-home alignments in the past and gotten decent results, but it's gonna be really neat to actually have a legit tool where we can see, you know, make minor adjustments and drive it and test it out. I can see how if you spend a whole bunch of money on suspension and you take this thing to the track and you can do like minor tweaks and then go drive the car, instead of having to take it to a shop and do an alignment every time you want to make a modification, that thing could be pretty cool. I'm ready to learn how to use it though. Let's get on it. Finley, he just wants to sleep. It's Sunday morning. I understand, but we have work to be done. Let's get to it. Okay, you guys, this tool is pretty neat. We're looking at the instructions. I know that seems crazy. Honestly, they do have a lot of room for improvement on the instructions. The pictures are tiny. Pictures matter of instructions. We were able to put the passenger side together on the tire, and I'm gonna show you how we did that on this side so that you can see how it all goes together. We have two main pieces, and these guys slide in because they are what connects to the actual wheel. They go under the lip of the wheel. The longer, skinnier bar stays horizontal, and the shorter one with all the adjustment goes vertical. If you have really nice wheels like what are on Zen, you would use these guys to protect the wheels. We're just doing it plain and simple on the Love's wheels because they're junky. Probably have to move it way down because the Love has tiny wheels. Little bitty guys. And that's all together. So let's take it over to our wheel. This is where I get intimidated. I mean, like, this thing's got lots of buttons. It's gonna tell me all kinds of information, but if I just resort back to the bubbles, then I can turn it on and actually get like down to the 10th of a degree of adjustment. So it's good. Let's start with this bottom bar. As you can see, it's pretty off. All right, let's switch the mode over to vertical. Something else I saw in the instructions was that you can use a speedy square to start the calibration of your upright and your horizontal before you start actually using your level. We have ours all situated nicely, perfectly set up. So I think now it's time to look at the toe. Look at that dog. He's so spoiled. The alignment tool comes with a couple of tape measures. So we start with one in the front of the tire and one in the back, and they run from side to side. So let's get them set. Our tape measures are set, and I sent Aaron over to that side because he's very quick at reading tape measures, and me, not so much. I stare at them for a while, and I'm like, I think this is 5/16, but anyway, he's better at it, so I threw him over on that side. All right, what's it looking like, Dave?
I'm gonna call it 63 even. So this one is going to be 62 and 15/16. So the back's closer together by a 1/16 of an inch.
So it's towed out a little bit.
Yeah, it's going to be out, but probably because it's a 1/16 of an inch, we never knew. They recommend that it be like a 1/16 or an 1/8 inch in the front, probably depending on how worn out your stuff is, and ours isn't. So I think we should adjust it to where we'll be towed in a 1/16 of an inch. Because if it drives good at that, that's going to give our tires the best chance of surviving. So we'll set it up that way, go drive it, and see if we like it.
Sounds good. Loosen our jam nut.
I think your batteries fell out.
I think they did too, babe.
I ought to pick those up and put them back in the mic so we can get some work done.
Yeah, I think so too. There it is. We have both of our jam nuts loosened. And I'm gonna roll the center, whatever you call that big long nut that adjusts the toe. And Aaron's gonna watch on the tape measures, try and get it adjusted right. Did I already move it some?
I think we've already moved it some.
It's probably come out from loosening it.
Because here's what we have. Dead on 63 at the back.
Okay.
62 and 15/16 at the front. We were towed to the back by a 1/16 of an inch before. Now we're towed to the front. We're towed in a 1/16. But let's go ahead and put it at an 8 turn or some.
Okay.
Yep, the right direction. A little bit more. Ooh, hold on. Okay, we've got 63 at the back and 62 7/8 on the front, which means we're an 1/8 inch in the front, which is exactly where we want it to be. I would lock your jam nuts there. I bet it's going to drive pretty darn good right there.
All right, the tow is done on this little truck. We actually are running up against some time crunch right now. You'll see this episode soon, and we'll already have been working on Zen because that car's going to SEMA. We have to get it ready. What's really cool is that the camber actually needs to be adjusted on her, and she's got legit camber plate, so that's going to be a really fun one to show you actually modding camber with this tool. So we learned how to use the tool, adjusting the toe on this rig, and you'll be seeing adjustment of the camber on Zen very soon. You ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Glowing. Does that look dirty to you? That looks better. Oh, baby girl. Get it.
Adjust this so I can see I'm passing. That was to the floor. It doesn't go fast.